Alright guys, so yesterday we're looking at the interior angle. Alright, we're looking at the angles on the inside.
I'm taking notes.
We're not taking notes today. So yesterday we're looking at the angles on the inside. If you interrupt me one more time, you will not be too happy with what I'll do with you. Okay? So once again, yesterday we're looking at the angles on the inside, interior angles. Today we're looking at the angles on the outside, exterior angles. If you remember yesterday, I started with first I will ask you guys, find out how much all the angles on the inside add up to, and then we move into just give me one angle. But notice how for the exterior, I go straight to just give me one angle. I don't ask you guys find out how much they all add up to. When we're talking about exterior angles is, if I was to extend each of my segments, like if I look at that question, I'm looking at that angle on the outside. Right? I'm not going to do it to all because there's too many. But if you notice when there's too many sides, my angle is kind of small. If you look at question number 2, there are less sides. And if you look at the exterior angles, they're a little bit bigger. The more sides we have, the smaller the angle on the outside is. And the reason why, because it doesn't matter how many sides you have, once you add them all together, they create a circle for the angles on the outside. So it makes sense that when there's too many of them, each of them are pretty small because they'll have to make a circle. Right? When there's only a few, they're a little bit bigger, but once again, they make a circle. How many angles are there in a circle? What's the degrees? Oh, my bad, wrong question. How many degrees are there in a circle? 360. So for my exterior angles, all of them always add up to 360. That's the reason why I didn't ask you guys what's the sum of the exterior angles, because that would be too easy of a question. Right, 360. Looking at question number 1, I know they all add up to 360. The directions are finding how big is one of them. First, find out how many you have. Right, I'm going to count the sides. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That means there are 12 sides. I count the sides instead of the angles because it's easier to count. But the amount of sides is the exact same amount of angles. So I know there's 12 angles. I know they all add up to 360. So for me to find out how big is one of them, I'm going to go 360 divided by 12. Right? Find out how many you got and divide 360 by that number. 30. So each of those angles is 30 degrees. Looking at question number 2, if I count the sides, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You have an octagon, right? 8 sides. For me to know how big is each of the angles on the outside, I'm going to go 360 divided by 8. How much is that? 45. So each of those angles is 45 degrees. Remember, 360 for the angles on the outside. For the angles on the inside, we had a formula. Remember, we had a formula yesterday, n minus 2, so it was 180. That was for the inside. For the outside, it's always 360. And so that's why they didn't ask you guys how much do they add up to, because that would have been too simple. All right, any questions on the front?
No.
No?
But you said we don't count them on the outside.
We do to know how many we divided by.
Okay.
Right, so they always add up to 360. The outside angles always add up to 360, but I do count how many we have to know what number I need to divide it by.
Okay.
All right. Again, any questions on the front? Now looking on the back, looking at number 11, it's a review of yesterday. Find a measure of one interior angle in each regular polygon. Round your answer to nearest tenth. So for the inside, it's not always 360. Remember we had a formula yesterday. I count how many sides we have. In this case, I have 5. There's 5 sides or 5 angles. For the inside, remember we had our formula n minus 2 times 180. So for the inside angles, I'm going to go 3 times 180. And the 3 because I went n minus 2. All right, so 3 times 180, which is 540. The angles on the inside add up to 540. Let me divide that by 5. by how many angles we got, how much is 540 divided by 5? 108. So each angle is 108. Remember, for the inside, we have a formula. The number changes depending on how many angles we have. The inside. The outside, it's always 360, no matter how many we got. So that's the difference between the inside and outside. Any questions? Okay, number 12. So looking at number 12, we have 4 sides. So the n equals 4. There's 4 angles. For me to find out how much they add up to, I'm going to go 2 times 180. And the 2, because we're with n minus 2, so that's where the 2 came from. I know 2 times 180 is 360. So the angles on the inside add up to 360. Let me divide this by 4, because there's 4 of them. How much is 360 divided by 4? 90. So each of the angles on the inside is 90. So again, for the inside, we do have a formula. For the outside, it's always 360. All right. Any questions?